Hello everybody, it's Fiona Hooper here again. I'm back with another edition of the Poetry of Painting. And this week it's my great pleasure to have on the show with me again, all the way from Georgia, USA, the lovely poet Aliberry SP. So let me just bring Ali onto the screen. Hi Ali, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing good, Fiona. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's great to have you back on.
Oh, it's
Just
great to be here too. Thank you so much for inviting me over again.
I'm really excited. I've been following your poems on Facebook and everything and just loving what you've been writing. So I'm really excited to hear what you're going to have for us this evening. And
Thank you so much.
yeah, because we got the bonus of 2 poems from you last time with your gorgeous painting as well. So yeah,
Yes.
looking forward to that. So just to welcome everybody who's watching, thank you for joining us, and to all the people that watch on replay as well. I hope you enjoy it. Please leave some comments for us, ask us questions, whatever you'd like to do. So welcome along to the Poetry of Painting, everybody. Okay, so Ali, can I ask you if you, let me put the painting up on the screen first. Sorry, let me do that. It
No
is up
problem at
behind me,
all.
but it's a bit small behind me, so it's much easier to see it on the screen.
Uh-huh.
And unusually for me, actually, this one is in your medium, Ali. It's painted in acrylics on
I
canvas.
thought so. I was looking at it and I thought it looked
Yeah,
like it was painted in acrylic.
yeah, it's just a different look to it, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's 40 by 60 centimeters, which I'm not sure what that is in inches for you. Sorry, Ali,
It's okay.
because I know you work in inches over there.
It's definitely
Um,
fine.
so that's the painting that we're both going to read our poems about this evening, starting with Ali. So if you'd like to read your poem, that would be brilliant. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Fiona. I'm going to go ahead and start reading my poem. The title of it is called Reflections. The blanketed night fades and a clear picture becomes unveiled as the sun slowly blossoms, lighting up the morning sky. If I could paint upon the surface of the estuary and hold a mirror up against its rays, it would be the perfect reflection of what my heart does when I think of you and I. The fluffy and wispy clouds saturated with a soft orange and golden hue, others create a ribbon that spans the bluish gray canvas. The puffiness reminds me of how full my heart has come to be, the pride I felt and still feel once I said yes to making you mine. The mix of fresh water and the saltiness of the sea mimics the ecosystem that our love has come to be. The unique blend containing the right amount of salinity, just enough to season our lives for years to eternity. Now, as the clouds move, revealing more patches of blue, the incoming light stamps the sky scene across the water beneath. An announcement of an approaching sunrise or impending rain, a reminder to hold you close, no matter what path our lives may take. Now, just as this remains home to multiple species of life, surrounded by lush vegetation and cool, crisp air, my hope is that our love will continue to survive, leaving lasting impressions on those that we meet everywhere.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Thank you, Fiona.
I love it. It's interesting actually, because you've seen it as a sunrise and I've seen it as a sunset. So 2
Yes.
different things, but some similarities, I think. So if I read mine and then mine's got quite a different tone to it from yours, which is, what I always find so fascinating about these, that, one person sees one thing in it and another sees something
Person's
quite different. So yeah.
exactly.
So here's my one, which is Estuary Reflections. So, gazing out across the lustrous water, serenaded by a curlew's haunting call, I revel in the beauty of this lonely place and the evening light before night's fall. The sun still plays on the distant bank, a patchwork landscape of umber and green, under a moody sky with gossamer clouds, glowing with warmth from a sun unseen. Here the salty ocean meets with the river, changing with the ebbs and flows of the tide, rocky fingers reaching out from the shore as though to bridge this watery divide. With winter comes the clamour of geese and ducks spooked by a hunting harrier. The wintering wildfowl who stop to feed find this water a refuge, not a barrier. For them the mudflats are a rich resource, with shellfish, crabs, fish and worms, a source of food to raise their young until they all fly north when spring returns. But now the light is dwindling fast, and dusk is changing my perceptions. I must leave for now this gentle shore, with fond memories of estuary reflections.
Oh, I did love your poem. I love how you talked about the different seasons. And you did talk about, the sun a little bit in there too, even if you were thinking that it was more of a sunset instead of a sunrise, like I was thinking. So I did love it.
Fresh. Yeah.
Yes.
We both had the salt
the
and the
water,
fresh.
the divide, like bringing everything together. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Just so different. But we've got some comments. Chris says, hello, nice to be with you again. Lovely to have you with us, Chris. Thank you. And Ritesh, season our lives to the eternity. Wow. Simply wow. Thumbs up for you there, Ali. That's brilliant. Thanks, Ritesh. Lovely to have you watching us. That's brilliant. And Chris says, 2 beautiful poems with very different feelings, and he sees it as sunset. I guess, if you ask enough people, they'll probably half see it as sunrise and half see it as sunset. So, yeah.
Yes.
And if you were Japanese, you'd definitely want to see it as sunrise, because they're very much about the positivity of having a day ahead. And I don't, I think they're not so keen on sunset. If they have a painting, they'd like it to be of a sunrise rather than, or traditionally anyway, rather than a sunset. So different cultures, different.
Yes,
different
it's very
views,
interesting to
attitude.
know.
Yeah. So always, if you're showing a painting in Japan, always say it's a sunrise, not a sunset.
Well, I will take note of that, to be sure.
Excellent. So what have you been up to since we saw you last, Ali?
Just as you mentioned at the beginning, I've been writing a lot of poetry, just different for different publications on medium.com. And I've been loving it so far, just being able to freely express myself. Sometimes I use prompts. Sometimes it's just off the top of my head. And I've also been painting as well. I think you recently saw one of my paintings where I tried watercolor for the first time.
Yes.
And
really
I really, really, really loved working with it. And I'm looking forward to working with it, that medium some more. What about you? What have you been up to?
Mostly I'd been working on 3 portraits recently of 3 rather handsome young lads for a couple, and their 3 sons. And I've now got those finished. I had the frames arrive ready, which I haven't had a chance to open them yet, but I shall do that later and just make sure everything's okay. So that's really good. I've got another 2 portraits I've just started, but I also found time to do a couple of landscapes for myself as well, my own work as opposed to commissioned work. So that's been fun to do as well. And one of those is now on my website, which is called Country Lane. And the other one I shall be sending out on my newsletter first. So if anybody wants to see it before it goes on social media, before it's on my website for everybody to see it, then join my newsletter, go to my website, which is www.fionahooper.com, and sign up on there to my VIP newsletter. Sorry, a little plug there, but I have to do it.
That is awesome. I didn't know about your newsletter. How often does it go out?
I normally send just about one a month because, you know, we all get so much email all the time that I think that's a nice sort of frequency for it. I did send an extra one last week because I wanted to send out the new painting, but it was just a very brief email, and because I wanted to actually get it onto my website and to be able to take it to a show, if I've still got it, of course. If anybody wants to have a look, please do, and say please sign up for the newsletter if you want to see new things and hear about exhibitions that are coming up.
That is awesome.
Subject of exhibitions, I believe you have some artwork in a competition, Ali, as well.
Yes. It's actually the piece that's behind me here. I don't know if you guys can see it very well.
I tell you what, I shall take the painting off the screen, and I'm going to make you bigger. No,
thank you.
Let's take me. I need you on there. No, get the right way.
Okay, so this is one of my paintings. I've called it Intensity. And just as Fiona mentioned, I am a finalist in an art competition, and this is the piece that has that they selected as a finalist. This art competition, once you become a finalist, they go live in October, where the public votes. So you have to create an online profile that they help you with. And once the profile goes live, then the public can go in, and there are, I think, 20 finalists out of like 221 people who submitted a painting. And then only about 12 people can win. They kind of categorize them up to different ages, like adults and children can participate as well. So I am very, very excited about being a finalist. The painting was done in acrylic. That's the medium that I typically work in, and it's black and white. And hopefully I get to win. But fingers crossed.
And
that's
congratulations.
Once you go live. Thank you so much. I'm really excited about this piece. So we will see how that turns out.
And when you go live and the public can vote, can they vote online for you?
Yes, they can definitely vote online. So I have an Instagram page. It's called Art is My Refuge. And I do have a picture of this painting up. I'll be putting some more information about the voting process and how you can go online and vote for my painting once it becomes live on October 1st. So you have an entire month to vote. And the unfortunate thing is that, of course, you can only vote one time. But that doesn't mean that you can't tell your friends about it and your other family members to go ahead and vote for me. So go back to Art is My Refuge, and I'll be posting some more information on Instagram to help everybody know when to vote and how to vote for me.
Excellent. And don't forget to put the link to your Instagram account in the comments after we finish tonight.
Yes.
So that people can link to you easily on there as well. So we've got some more comments. Ritesh sees the painting as dawn. So we're getting mixture here. That's equal at the moment, equal dawn and sunset.
Yes.
And he agreed with Chris. He loved both the poems, especially yours, Ali, which is lovely. Thanks, Ritesh.
Thank you so much, Ritesh.
And your painting that you've just shown us, it says intensity. It almost looks like a 3D with so much depth. You're very talented and in very good company, i.e. Fiona. Thank you very much, Ritesh. That's lovely. Thank you for your
so much.
kind
Thank
words.
You for your very kind comments. I appreciate them.
Yeah.
And yes, Fiona is very good company. I love being on her show and listening to her poems and seeing her lovely artwork as well.
Oh, thank you. And it's lovely having you on too. So we could go on like this all night, really, couldn't we?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So I know we mentioned the book last time that I'm planning as well, which Ritesh's work is going to be in there too. His poems about my paintings as well. So just want to make sure that you've got something. Not immediately, we're not quite there yet. I need to work out what's going to be the best way of having it published and everything. Oh, Chris says he seconds the comments. Thank you very much, Chris. That's lovely.
Thank you, Chris.
What I will want from each of my poets, because I think people are really going to be interested to know a little bit about each of you. So, you know, a little biography of you, Ritesh, you as well, and Ali and everybody, so that people will not only read your poems, but they can relate to them, knowing a little bit about the poet as well, which I think will be lovely. So I'm just
I think that's very, very exciting. I mean, I've tuned into the show, or I've watched it after you guys have gone live, and I've listened to the poems, so I've read them afterwards when you posted them on Facebook. And there have been so many talented people that have come on your show, so it would be great to have all of the poems together. So I'm very excited about the book, Fiona.
Yep, I am too. Yeah, like a little kid sometimes, you know, getting excited, but hey ho.
Exactly. It's good to be excited.
Yeah, and I just find it such an honor that all of these wonderful poems by poets that have been on the show, that they're all going to, you know, allow them to be in this book, which is amazing. And you know, I feel very honored to be in such company, you know, of poets that have been some not been creating poetry for very long, the same as myself, and some that have been writing for years. And it's lovely that, you know, we all just share and you know, enjoy each other's work with no competition. You know, it's, you know, well, I know there are poetry competitions out there, but between us there's no competition, you know, because we're all different and we all have a different style and a different way of viewing things. And
just as you can see in the painting, you know, you can see it as a sunrise or you can see it as a sunset. I don't think there is a right or wrong answer. I think it's just what you see when you take a look at it. So I love that, you know, that it's up to us and every viewpoint is appreciated. So
absolutely, yes, yeah. So and if you want to put your links in afterwards as well, Ali, please, so that people can find you on Facebook to read some of your other poetry, because it is beautiful. I've loved reading it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, good. I do love writing poetry. I want to say that I've been writing it for years, but I think within the past year and a half, I've really kind of just focused a little bit more on my writing. And so I'm excited, you know, for me to share it and put it out there. Because sometimes, you know, we had that discussion earlier. You get this fear when you try to put something out there because you don't know how people may view it or if they would appreciate it. Or you just question yourself, wondering, am I good enough? You know, I haven't been doing it for this long, or maybe I'm not as good as the other people out there. But I think it's good to just be proud of your work. And, you know, everybody has different views. Not everyone will love it, but I think it's good to enjoy what you do and to share it with others.
And to be honest, if you're not enjoying it, why would you do it anyway?
Exactly.
You know, it's, it has to come from a place of joy within you, doesn't it, really? So, yeah. I believe you also write fiction, not just poetry. Is that right?
Yes, I do write fiction as well. And I'm actually, I didn't even tell you about that. I'm actually working on a novel. It's a fiction piece. It's dystopian fiction. So I've created my own version of the world, and that's exciting. So I've been working on that while writing poetry and, you know, doing some painting as well. So that keeps me busy.
Absolutely. Very creative. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And the fiction, is that going to be in the end that be a published book, or will it be, you know, for other publications, or what?
Well, hopefully it will be a published book. I actually wrote it as a short story, and someone read it, and that person reached out to me. She's more like a mentor to me now, and she really loved it, and she encouraged me to write more of it. It was just a small, she was like, I think you could do a lot more of this story than just this short version of it. So I am very happy for her encouragement. because without her, I probably would not have ventured forward and tried to write a book, because this would be my first book. But the plan is to hopefully get it published. Yes.
Brilliant. Well, I have a feeling that I did actually read the first installment.
I think you did. Yes,
yeah,
you did.
I'm still waiting to read some more. So come on, girl, get writing, because I really enjoyed it. It was.
Thank you so much. Yes, I definitely have been doing a lot of writing. I'm taking a little break from work right now, so I'm just trying to do all of the creative things that I can do within that space of time. Because sometimes if you have a job, then that kind of takes away from the things that you can do.
Yeah.
So I'm taking full advantage of the opportunity right now. So
excellent. Oh, we've got Chris says he's got to drop off now for work. So thanks ever so much for watching in, Chris. Been great to have you with us, and thank you for your comments as well. And
thank you, Chris.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a whole new world. I know I've said this before, but the poetry and writing and stuff.
Oh yes.
I feel that I'm more of a visual artist than a writer, but I have really been enjoying doing the poetry, and learning more about it from reading more poetry, different groups on Facebook.
Yes.
And so just seeing different styles and different ways of just approaching it, really, I suppose. So it's all a learning curve, and I think keeping on learning something as we go through life it's always a good thing to keep learning, isn't it?
No, it definitely is. And it's all about growth as well. You can't remain stagnant, things change, So I think it's very important to keep growing in terms of your knowledge and your abilities, because things are never going to remain the same. So you have to keep moving forward with it. That would be my take on the world. And that's how I look at life.
Because there's only one thing that's for certain, isn't there? And that is that change will happen. So
yes, it definitely
let's go
will.
with it, and try to make it change the way that we want it to change, rather than have change imposed upon us, as it were. So
exactly,
take positive steps to make it go the way we want it to.
Yes.
And, just not sitting back and accepting, but going out and creating and driving things that we want to happen, like painting and poetry and writing as well for you. Yeah.
You just sometimes I have had people come to me and they've said, I never knew you were an artist, or I never knew you were a writer. And I didn't know those things myself either, but you won't know until you try.
Yes.
So if there is something that you think that maybe piques your interest, just give it a try. Absolutely. You might find out that you're actually very good at it than you actually thought you were. So that's what I would say. If you think that, I don't know if I could paint, just try painting something. Maybe the first couple of times it may not be that great, but continue at it. And I think that could, you can develop a passion for something that you did not think that you would ever be interested in.
And of course, the more you do it, the better you generally get. Practice is so important with any of these things, painting, drawing, writing. The more you practice, it's just you get familiar with it. You learn different ways of doing it. It's just I was encouraging you earlier to maybe venture into the oils, because you said you quite like to do that. So go for it. Yeah, you can do it.
Yes, that's gonna be after I try watercolor, then I'm gonna try oil as well. Like I mentioned before, I was a little bit scared of the drying time since it takes such a long period, but you told me about some mediums that I could use and stuff like that. So I'm excited about doing some more research and actually using them.
And it'd be really interesting to see how your style of painting maybe changes with both the watercolor and with the oil from what you normally do in the acrylics.
Yes.
So, because although you can use an acrylic like an oil, you can use an acrylic like a watercolor, but it still doesn't behave quite the same as the other mediums. So, it'll be really fascinating to see how things are different, from one medium to the other with what you're doing, which would be great.
Yes, I'm definitely excited about that. Did you kind of transition? Because I know the painting that we did the poem on was done in acrylic, but most of your other paintings that I've seen, they were done in oil. Did you use acrylic
Yes.
before and then transition to oil, or was it mainly oil and a little bit of acrylic?
Mainly oil and sometimes acrylic.
Okay.
Watercolor I do a little bit occasionally,
Okay.
and I could tell you all the theory about how to do watercolor, but I would never presume to be able to say I am a watercolorist. I know a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
theory from reading and seeing other people paint, watching demonstrations, but I'm not a watercolorist, and I really appreciate a good watercolor painting. I think it's like magic, the
Oh,
way
yes.
they can
Yes.
take advantage of how the water moves and
I
everything.
know. It's
So
fascinating to me.
yeah, but I'm definitely not an expert in acrylics, and I used to use pastel quite a bit at one time as well,
Oh,
soft
okay.
pastel.
Yeah, I've used
Um,
pastel before.
yeah, and I really enjoyed those, but I got to a point
Mm-hmm.
where I thought, no, I I would like to concentrate on one medium to
Mm-hmm.
try to get, to a higher standard in that one medium.
Okay.
But I still use other things occasionally. And I just settled on oil because it's my favorite. I even like the smell of it. I like the way it handles, the consistency.
Mm-hmm.
That's, just the butteriness of it, the way you can move it about and use. Well, I like to use knives when I paint rather than brushes. But
Okay.
nice juicy color, and you can, like with acrylics, if you use a thick acrylic or
Mm-hmm.
with an impasto paste, you can get texture and ridges
Yes.
and things, but you can, easily do that with oils as well. And I really like the thicker paint and or juicy, lovely. Yeah. So could go on for a while about oils. They are definitely my favorite.
Well, that
Um,
has gotten me a little bit excited
yeah.
about using them now that I've heard you
Yeah.
talk about it some
Great
more.
fun. Great fun. And you can use all different things to apply them, a bit like acrylics as well, of course. You can use the edge of a credit card, probably one that you're not actually using anymore to spend money.
Of course.
You can use, the knives, brushes, you can use kitchen implements, all sorts of things to make different, marks and impressions and the paint and so on. So, um, yeah, really good fun. And I actually even like the smell of turpentine, but I
Hmm.
don't normally use it because it really isn't good for you. It's quite
Yeah.
toxic. And there's plenty other far less toxic things out there to use now. But it's just, part and parcel of oils, the smell of terps. But I say, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't normally use it here and I certainly wouldn't use it if I was painting, with a group somewhere and it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
outdoors, because some people are actually sort of allergic to it. It can make them really feel ill,
Mm.
bad headaches and things. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I can
but
see by the scent of it that could cause a headache, etc.
yeah. So just choose one of the less toxic mediums. Or if you
Okay.
paint with a knife, I don't use any medium at all, so the issue doesn't even arise. I just use the paint as it comes out of the tube, nice and thick.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So
Sounds good.
there we are. So I think we're just about getting towards the end of our time for this week. It's been absolutely fantastic having you back on again, Ali. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank
Loved your
you.
poem. Absolutely wish you all the very best in the competition. And just make sure you post in the links in the comments afterwards so that people can vote for your wonderful painting. And, keep us up to date with what's going on with it as well.
Oh, no
And
problem at all, Fiona. Thank you so much
delighted.
for giving me the opportunity to come back on your show. I always have such a great time just sitting back and talking to you about painting and about poetry and writing in general. I did enjoy your poem as well. I like that it was
Oh, thank
different,
you.
the sunrise versus the sunset. So
Yeah.
I did appreciate that difference. And I just want to say that I am excited about the book as well. So I'm looking forward to hearing more poems from other poets that are going to be coming and joining you on your show.
Excellent. And I look forward to reading your book when it's ready as well, because I love
thank you so much.
the short bit that I've read so far. It's brilliant. So thank you.
Thank you.
So next week, back at 7 o'clock on Wednesday at 7 o'clock UK time for another edition of The Poetry of Painting, with another super poet joining me again next week. You know who you are, and it's been lovely having you on in the comments. So really looking forward to that. And thank you so much for watching, everybody, and hope to see you next week. So thanks ever so much. Thanks, Ali. And
you're welcome.
Time to say cheerio from me, and
bye, everybody.
Bye from Ali. Take care. Thanks, Ali. Bye now,
You're
everyone.
welcome. Bye.
Bye.